So as you probably know, once you've reached the age of 70, all drivers in the UK have to renew their driving licence, and from then on they have to renew it every 3 years. If you drive a motorhome that's over 3,500 kilograms like me, you'll have category C1 and C1E on your licence, and there's a process you need to follow. Otherwise you'll lose that entitlement to drive your own motorhome. This video is about how I went about renewing my driving licence and keeping my C1, C1E entitlement. Now it's important to understand this is my understanding of the process. I'm not infallible, so please do check out the links I provide in the video for the official information. But first, a bit of background on driving licence categories. Is your motorhome over 3,500 kilograms? You need to check your VIN plate. Does it say 3,500 kilograms or over? Mine shows 4,500 kilograms. What category do you have on your driving licence at the moment? So this is my driving licence. Category B is for cars. Category C1 is medium-sized vehicles, and that's what we're interested in. Let's have a look at the website. Category C1 means you can drive vehicles between 3,500 and 7,500 maximum authorised mass with a trailer up to 750 kilograms. Category C1E is the one we're interested in, and you can drive those C1 vehicles with a trailer over 750 kilos. The combined MAM of both is restricted, in my case, to 8,250. I think most people would be the same. I inherited the so-called grandfather rights to C1 and C1E. Licence categories changed in 2014, and indeed they changed before that. But if you pass your test for category B or B1 automatic before the 1st of January 1997, your licence will show that entitlement to C1, C1E and D1 and D1E, which is not for hire or reward. So as I said, once you reach 70, you must renew your driving licence every 3 years. You will get a reminder a couple of months before to remind you to renew, together with a D46 form. I think it's a good idea to start at least 4 months before you need to retain your C1 and C1E entitlement. I'm due to renew in May, and this is January. Now, if you don't need a C1 or C1E for your vehicle because it's not over 3,500 kilograms, simply fill out the D46 form and send that back. Or you can do it online and you'll get your licence back within a week, but it will come back minus that C1, C1E, D1 and D1E, which is what Jenny did. But that means that she can no longer drive our motorhome, which is over 3,500 kilograms. She can apparently drive a Land Rover Defender 130 towing a 7.9 metre Bailey caravan, however. There's a slightly different process for Northern Ireland drivers as well, and I'll put the links on screen here. So let's have a look at the D2 and D4 forms. To renew your C1, C1E category, you'll need 2 DVLA forms, D2 and D4. Now D2 is an application for a lorry, bus or minibus driving licence. In our case that covers a motorhome of 3,500 kilograms. A D4 is a medical examination report for a Group 2 bus or lorry licence. Now you can get both of these from your local larger post offices, and if you look on the postoffice.co.uk website, find a local branch, filter on driving, and then go to that branch and ask for a D2, D4 pack, like this. The next step is to book a medical, a D4 medical. Now I use d4drivers.uk, who can provide the D4 form but not the D2. You can book the medical 4 months in advance of the expiry, and the D4 medical is valid for 4 months from the date the doctor signs it. So book a D4 medical for HGV, LGV, minibus. What do you need to take with you? Well, you'll need your D4 form, your ID, driving licence and passport or some form of identification, glasses if you wear them for driving, optical prescriptions, details of any medications you're taking. Make a note of your weight and height, also your GP's details if you're going through D4 drivers, obviously because they're not your doctors. So why did I go through D4 drivers? Well, it's easy to book, there's less waiting, and hopefully they're familiar with those forms and there should be less mistakes. But you really need to read the notes on filling out the D2 form. This is my understanding. You don't need to provide proof of identity unless you've changed your address, or you're replacing a lost or stolen license, or you have an old paper license. You will need a photo if you're applying apparently within 56 days of the expiry of the license. The license is free to renew, and you can drive once the DVLA have received a valid application, provided you're not disqualified or there's some other reason why you shouldn't be driving. So filling out the D4 form, the green sections are for the doctor to fill out, the grey sections are for you to fill out when you're with the doctor. So that's it now. I've booked my medical for the 7th of February, and in the next part I'll show you how I got on with the forms and the medical, and hopefully how I got my C1 renewed. So hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye then.